Hi, how many of you have ever really wanted something desperately bad? Like you really, great English, right? You really wanted that job, like that you just prayed for it and prayed for it. Or you wanted that relationship that you were praying for and praying for. And what about a baby? Who out there really wants a baby right now? So that was me. 17 years ago today, my son, Phoenix, was born. And I believe in miracles, and I believe in manifesting miracles. And so today I'm going to talk to you about how to manifest miracles in your life. And first, the story of the birth of my son, because that is what I manifested. When my daughter I had my daughter right away. So I have a daughter named Carly, and I had the blessing of having her very early. Like I was only married about a year and a half, 2 years, and I found out I was pregnant with her. So that was so easy. And then several years later, I thought, I really want a brother or sister for my son or for my daughter. And I always wanted that. Like ever since I was 5 years old, I knew that I wanted 2 children because I was an only child for 10 years. So I didn't want that to be the case for my daughter, who at the time was about turning 5. So I thought, it's probably time that we start. So the long and the short of it was 10 years just about goes by and no baby. I had every test, injection, just everything that you can think of that's pretty invasive I had done because I wanted this child so, so much. Well, about at the age of 36, which was before my son was born, it had been about 6 years of wanting and waiting and some miscarriages and some disappointments. And I was diagnosed with cancer in my uterus. So what does that mean? It means it has to come out permanently. Nothing else you could do back then, and I'm pretty sure right now, if you have what I had, you have to get it taken out because that cancer, it's safe, it's encapsulated, but it'll grow out into your fallopian tubes and your ovaries, and ovarian cancer is not a good day. So no cancer is. So I was pretty much told that my hopes and my dreams were done. It was hopeless. But was it? So about 4 years before that, one morning, I felt this baby always nursing at my right breast. And I thought, what is going on? I was fully conscious. This was happening multiple mornings. And finally, I just closed my mind's eye. I was fully awake. And I said, is there a baby here? Now, this is before I did my work in the Akashic Records and even realized how skilled that one could be in reading the Akashic Records. And so I closed my eyes and I saw this perfect little boy. He looked similar to my son or to my daughter, but I knew he was a boy. His face was structured a little differently. He had blonde hair, but it wasn't curly, it was straight. And that's who I saw. And that's who I believed was coming to me and our family. But then that fateful day, it was right after Christmas, when I learned that the child, hey boys, happy birthday, Phoenix. The child that I wanted was not really possible without a uterus. So I went to Hershey Oncology, and I went to every doctor that would see me in hopes of getting some sort of a cure or a different answer, and each and every time I got the same answer. Only time was passing. So I remember the one doctor came in to see me. It was a female doctor, and she was pregnant, probably about 4 or 5 months. And she pulled up a chair and she sat down and she said, this waiting game is really serious, and you're in Hershey Oncology for a reason. And she was very kind, but she said, you need to take action. You need to get this done. And she said, after I see you, I'm going up to say goodbye to one of my patients because she did have some of her organs removed, and it grew on the inner lining of her cancer grew on the inner lining of her, the wall of her abdomen. She said, so yours is encapsulated. You're very fortunate, but we need to take action. And I remember a girlfriend was with me, and I said, but I won't be able to have my son. And I really didn't care about if it was a girl or a boy. I just happened to see my son in like 1993. And he was born in 2000. So that's how it was going at the doctor's office. I know that they were getting frustrated with me. But here's what I was believing, and this is what I was thinking. I believed with every cell in my body, with every part of my soul and every part of my heart, that little boy was meant to come to me. And this was an obstacle. Cancer was just an obstacle. Now, I'm not telling other people to take the actions that I took. What I'm telling you about, talking about, is how to manifest a miracle in your life. You have to own that miracle. You have to own it at a soul level, and you have to believe. There's no doubt it's coming. That miracle that you want is yours. And that's what I believed. So finally, my doctor sat me down, the one that I just, to this day, adore, and he said, Candy, I can't do this anymore. He said, I can't, be your doctor if we can't figure out a game plan for this. This has been going on 6 months now. So again, going through this, I said to him, which one of your 3 children would you give up? And he said, well, none of them. And I said, but you're asking me to give up my 2nd child, and I know he's coming. And he said, but you have one to raise that God gave you. And I really suggest that we get this done. I'll make a deal with you. So his deal to me was I went back in and got one more procedure. And he said, and it will give us test results. The results of those tests, once they're conclusive, like they've been with every other test, you have to promise me within 6 weeks you'll come in and get your surgery, and I'll make sure that you get scheduled. So we shook on it. I said, I'm going on vacation. I don't want to hear anything. And he said, I'm actually going on vacation too. And he said, I want you to bring your husband in when you come in because I want him here. And traditionally, he hadn't really gone to appointments because he traveled. So I agreed on that too because he made me. So in the meantime, I was praying a lot. And I decided to go to a place called Emmitsburg, Maryland. And at Emmitsburg, Maryland, there was a person that was supposedly seeing the Blessed Mother on Thursdays during a 7 o'clock rosary. So I went with my mother-in-law, and we were praying. And at the 5 o'clock rosary, I felt this like swirl inside, like below my belly button and above my pelvic area. It just felt like this warm swirl. I've never felt anything like that in my body since that time, before or after, until the present moment. And I said something to my mother-in-law. I said, I don't know what that was, but I had, this weird feeling. And I told her what it was like. And we were driving home by then. Then neither one of us thought much about it. But then moved forward to my next doctor's visit, and he came in. My sweet doctor just was so patient with me, and he saw my husband there, and he sat down, and I got scared because I never saw him quite do it that like he did it, and I thought I was in trouble for a moment. And he said, "You're okay." He said, "I have your results back." And he said, "There's nothing there." I said, "You mean the results didn't come out?" And he said, "No, you don't have any cancer in your uterus anymore." My uterus was twice in size, and it had active cancer cells. And he said, I don't know what to do with you. He said, "I'm writing you a prenatal prescription, and I don't know if you can get pregnant, but I know that you have a a uterus that can handle, conception. So he said, I don't know the end result, but I've never seen this before. And I had already scheduled my hysterectomy because he really forced me to previous, but I had every intention of canceling it, and I did cancel it even before then. It was April 16th was my surgery to have the cancerous tissue removed. And I canceled it until, that doctor's appointment where I was told that I didn't have cancer anymore. So he wrote me a prenatal prescription, and he looked at my husband and he was like, let's get this done, So that moves us to 2 years after that on April 17th. I had just gotten back from Phoenix, Arizona, and long story short, I realized that something was off with my schedule, which I was taking medication to keep it regular because of the cancer before. But I was just taking natural progesterone, so it wasn't any big deal. So I took a pregnancy test. And on April 17th, 2 years after my diagnosis and cancer-free diagnosis, I was pregnant. 10 years of waiting, and I was pregnant. I remember before that, every time, when some people want to get pregnant and can't, it's like everybody gets pregnant. My next door neighbor was pregnant. My sister-in-law was pregnant. The lady down the street was pregnant. My sister was pregnant. I felt like, somebody was going to call me at any moment and say that they were pregnant. And that's what I was living like, each and every day during, the 6 years. And I was always hearing, seeing people's beautiful little bellies popping out and knowing that they had been gifted, with another child or maybe their first child. And I really wanted the second baby. And God had granted that. And I believe by me holding my faith and my belief that it was going to happen. It was shown to me, and I believed it in every soul in my body. And I believe that I helped to manifest that miracle. For me, it was through prayer and belief. So whatever you're praying for right now, I know it's a hard time of the year for some people. Some people have just lost somebody, or they need a job, or they want something that they've been waiting for many, many years that they think is impossible. What I'm offering today is hope. Hope and believing in yourself, in the power within you, the power to create and manifest whatever you want. I had everything going against me. I was 36 years old. I had a husband who wasn't completely on board. I think he was afraid for my health. Everything was going against me, except myself. I believed. So today I just offer you to believe in you. No, I don't know if anybody knows the story of the phoenix bird. My husband didn't know it, and I didn't know it. But one day we were sitting there eating dinner. I still remember we were eating steak because I rarely ever ate steak. But when I was pregnant, I'd bring a slab of beef home. I couldn't even believe how much I craved beef, but I did. And we were eating our steaks, and my husband said, Phoenix. I said, are we going to Phoenix? What's happening? And he said, well, because I kind of heard that's supposed to be our son's name. And we knew it was a boy by then. And I always thought the child's name would be William Michael, but for some reason that didn't feel right. William after my father, Michael after his family, but it just didn't, or William John, actually, John after his dad, William after my dad. It just didn't feel right. I don't know why that name didn't feel right. As much as I love both of those men, and much as I wanted this baby, I didn't have a name for him. So I said to him, well, that's interesting. I'll think about that, because there's some real associations with, Phoenix. Like, we just came back from Phoenix, but I had never heard about the phoenix bird rising from the ashes. until I went to church that weekend, and the sister saw me, Sister Dorothy, and she said, I hear we have a miracle, because so many people were praying for me for so long. It was like probably a constant prayer of many, because they knew how much I truly wanted a second child, to be given that opportunity, to be a mother again, because I just so loved Carly and enjoyed her. So when Sister asked me, I said, here we're going to say a name like Phoenix. I said, yes, Sister, we do have a miracle. And she said, do you have a name for the baby? And I said, we're thinking about naming the baby Phoenix. And she said, She said, look at my neck. And she said, when we're ordained into the sisterhood, she said, we pick a name for our ordination, I guess, of the group members that are being ordained. And she said, our group picked the name Phoenix. And then somebody had made beautiful necklaces for all of them. And then she took me to the stained glass window. And she showed me the symbol in our church, in our stained glass window, of the phoenix bird. And she explained to me the story of how this bird was supposed to be a gold and silver bird that rose from the ashes, bringing hope and life to others. And it's also a symbol in Christianity of like rebirth, like, Christ's rebirth. That's what the symbolism is. It's also in the Asian culture as the phoenix and the dragon. It's usually opposing symbols that people wear on their wedding day, the dragon and the phoenix. So it's very cross-cultural, and it was a beautiful story. And I thought, you know what, I think that might be the name for this child. So to this day, when I go to church and when I go up to communion and I come back, if anybody goes to church with me, you'll see me look up into the stained glass window, and every single time, every single Sunday, I say, I believe in miracles, because I do. Because right now I've lived with a little boy for 17 years that's now becoming a young man. As you can see from the 2 pictures I posted, he was born right before Christmas, November 28th today. And so that was a picture taken for our family postcard. And then you see a picture of him today that I posted. Actually this weekend, he was with his sister in Philadelphia celebrating his birthday. So that's the story of the miracle of the birth of my son. So what is it that you're hoping for? Is it that child? Is it a career? Is it a love of your life? Hold on to that with every cell in your body. Manifest it. State what you want. Write it. Own it. Know it's yours. It's not going to happen. It happened already. That baby, I had a christening dress. I was ready for that baby. For I don't know how many years I had a christening dress hanging in the closet. I knew it was going to be a boy, but I wanted an heirloom. So what I decided to do in celebration for my son's birthday is I've posted below a Zoom link for, I want to make sure I'm saying the date right, December 4th, which is a Monday at 7 p.m. I haven't done an Akashic Healing Circle for a long time, and I'm going to do it for free for anybody that wants to join. And the theme's going to be manifesting miracles. What an Akashic Healing Circle is we spend about 20 minutes learning about what it's like to manifest miracles. Then I do a 20-minute channel, a channeled meditation. So I ask what the theme is for the group in the ether world. And as I ask for that, there becomes a common thread. And then I ask if there's any blocks and if they're meant to be released in the now, and then we release them. And we name the block and we release them. And then I'm going to open the line for questions. So anybody that comes onto the call is going to get a free gift. And I'm really excited about it. So again, it's December 4th at 7 p.m. It's an Akashic Healing Circle called Manifesting Miracles, in celebration of the most beautiful miracle I ever manifested. my little boy. So I love my daughter endlessly as well. She came much easier in this world. He was much more difficult, and knowing the two, it kind of spoke its own. He was a little more difficult, and she was a lot easier. But I'll take them just the way I was given them. I'm really grateful that I was able to be a mom of 2 children, a boy and a girl, and they were both healthy and are healthy. So I feel very blessed. And I wanted to honor other people in celebrating this moment, to help them manifest their miracles, to get clear about how to do it. So sending love and light to everybody that's listening. We'll see you later. See you on the December 4th at 7 p.m.